and Saturday, day number 14, headed down towards the Lower Peninsula of Michigan. Not sure whether I'll get all the way there or not, but it should get pretty close to where the Mackinaw Bridge is.
Kind of a breezy day, overcast. Not very pretty, but if it's not raining, I will be happy. Glad to get into town just to see what kind of weather I'm facing once I can get some mobile coverage. Crossing through Houghton, Michigan, which is where the National Park Service office was. Marquette left lane. Canyon Falls Roadside Park. And there's a few cars here. About 45-50 minutes away is a museum dedicated to mining here in Michigan. Just past the sign, Loose Crossings, next 35 miles. 35 miles. It's almost the entire way that I have to go. Ishpeming, Michigan. Welcome to Ishpeming. This is where that mine museum is located. Well, it's kind of an interesting complex. Cliffs Shaft Mine Museum.
And probably around the turn of the last century, and was a big boom to production. It was meant for carrying heavy loads. It illustrates why are there always railroad tracks in mining operations and in pictures. Well, you take your heavy load, you put it on perfectly round wheels, but then you roll those wheels on a flat and level surface, even if it's only 2.5 inches wide, and you are going to eliminate a lot of the problems that make pushing a cart difficult. Just like that. Excellent, thank you. In this particular shaft, if you recall, the engine house is on top of the shaft rather than in a different building. Natural rock, waste material from when they were digging the shafts. The other thing that's unique, there's no welding on this pavement. It's all done with rivets. And of course, Mother Nature is taking her toll too. Probably the most important artifact we have.
Here in Michigan, our iron ore goes down. So they're in deep pits, and these trucks are lifting the material out of the ground. Think your physics. You're lifting tons out of the ground. So they're going in a spiral out of this pit. Exact same arrangement as your railroad locomotives. That big diesel you hear running on a railroad locomotive is only driving a generator. It was unloaded into a railroad car right there in that opening, that door there. And there was a railroad trestle that came out at that level and then went up because the surface crusher was on the other side of that little building there. Almost a 2-hour tour, but very well done. The guy was very knowledgeable. He actually worked for the mining company for most of his career, retired from it,
So here we go, 131 miles. And somewhere along the line in the next 30, I'm going to stop and service my chain. So I may just throw some lube on it and clean it up later. There is Lake Superior. I thought I was going to drop south away from Lake Superior, but I'm following it for a bit longer as I go east, and then ultimately we'll fall away from it, head more south than east. Hiawatha National Forest.
Another view, Lake Superior.
I left Hiawatha National Forest and entered Lake Superior State Forest. A few towns here and there that I passed through, but mostly woodland. I'm really surprised by how good the weather's been today. It was raining on a little on and off this morning with showers, but that stopped. And knock on wood, skies don't look too bad right now. I am headed towards Mackinac Campground. It's a state forest campground. I just happened to see on the side of the road on my way to the one that I had actually was targeting. This was closer, so I figure I'll try this first, and if this is full or somehow unacceptable, then I'll move on to the next one. It's pretty back here. Know nothing about this place. Hopefully they have water. Most of them have pit toilets, but not all of them have water. I did buy some prepackaged food for dinner, so I don't need to cook and clean up the dishes afterwards. Only one self-contained camping unit per site. Let's go back and see what it's like. Looks like it's fairly well maintained. There are definitely spots. Not too bad. It's elevated. That's not bad. Yeah, I'm going to stay here. Site number 8, Mackinac Campground. My campsite's right on the lake. The spot is fairly flat. It's elevated, so when it rains tonight, should drain off. Worry about getting out of here in the morning with the mud, because they do say 0.3 to 0.4 inches of rain starting around midnight, and I'm actually supposed to get a little bit of rain here in the next 10 minutes. So I'm going to hustle along here and see if I can get my tent set up, and hopefully that can happen before it rains, and maybe even get some food in.
Campsite's all set up, 6:05 p.m. time to eat. View from my campsite. And turning around looking back at my camp. Good morning. It's day number 15, beginning of week 3. Sunday morning, about 9 o'clock. And it rained very heavily last night. I think we got about an inch of rain based on the weather reports. That hill in the back where I had my tent was a lifesaver because it kept the water from puddling into the tent. So I actually stayed pretty dry last night. It was interesting though, because there was a big thunderstorm that came through with lightning and thunder, so made for a little bit of a noisy start to the evening, but I kept dry, so I can't complain about that. Today I head down to the Lower Peninsula, so I'm going to try to cross the Mackinaw Bridge, Big Mac today, and head down the western side of Michigan. That's the plan.
Here we go. Beginning of week 3, Sunday. Bike starts up like a charm. Check the lights. Make sure all the lights are working, including the headlamp, which I learned in Canada was out one time when I didn't check it. Safety item. And let's see here, brake lights. Top brake lights working. Bottom brake lights are working. 3 hours to go 166 miles. I guess that's about right. Gloves feel damp. Tires are a little bit low, but they will come up to pressure. Nice quiet night. It's so nice being able to stay dry. And here we go. This doesn't look too bad. Yeah, this looks fine. It's a little bit slippery, but not bad. Little washboard. So I think it's gonna be on again, off again showers today. I heard it's cambered too, so it's shedding water. I'll just take my time going out of here. And it's raining again. Whether I'm going to leave my GoPro on my helmet or not, it's going to get all water soaked. With the helmet mic, it's not waterproof. It was in much better shape than I thought it would be after as much rain as we had last night. The thunder last night was just, it resonated through the sky. It was it's pretty impressive. Give you a sense for how big the sky is. All right, there we go. Back onto the state highway. On my way to Big Mac. Out of one rain shower, and ahead it looks like there's another one coming up. I guess my worry about campgrounds last night was all for naught. The place I ended up at had very few campers in it, and then I am just passing one state campground after another. So for whatever reason, didn't show up on Google when I was looking for it. Literally every 5 or 10 miles, there's another campground that I pass. There we go. Here's a good view of Lake Michigan. Very pretty, including my lens isn't completely coated with water. Scenic overlook. I am at the Mackinaw Bridge, and I just broke 100,000 miles of motorcycle riding after 24, almost 25 years of riding. 100,000 miles. And that's the bike that did a lot of it. 63,840 miles on this bike. 3 other bikes were involved. Suzuki Velocia, an FJR 1300 by Yamaha, and a BMW F750 GS up in Alaska. 49 states and 10 Canadian provinces, all Canadian provinces. So Hawaii, I have my sights set on you. So I'm flying high despite the crappy weather. It's a personal accomplishment for me. I really never thought I would make that. So I gotta get some gasoline and then try to get across that bridge. I'm hoping that they have the pavement on the bridge all the way across. There's 2 lanes, a graded lane and a pavement lane, and coming over I had to ride the grate. So I'm hoping going back in the rain that I can ride on the pavement, because I do not want to ride on the grate with the rain. I know a lot of guys cross the 100,000 mile mark, but for me it's personal, so I'm happy about it. I did see a sign, I just passed a sign saying high winds across the bridge, and trucks and trailers have to be 20 miles an hour. That's not terribly encouraging. Let me fill up with gas and figure out what I'm going to do here. I'm going to try it. It's raining. $4 to cross. Hey, here we go. A little bit of a crosswind. Mackinaw Bridge. There's the steel grate that I'm avoiding by staying over here on the slow lane. Say goodbye to Upper Peninsula. Say hello to the Lower Peninsula. I am going to try to go to Mackinac Island. See if I can get a ticket. It's crazy. Go out there for, I think it's an hour ride. Hour ride back. Spend a couple hours there. That'll give me something to do. And it's been so long since I've been to Mackinac Island. I'd really like to see it. Very picturesque little island. A lot of visitors. Round Island Lighthouse, 1895. There's a high-speed ferry back. That's what Royale needs. That ferry out there is doing 25 knots. They measured it coming in. It's twice the speed of the Royale ferry.
walking up to the fort. Gives me a little elevation here of the harbor. Pool room and the post canteen. Soldiers' barracks are being rebuilt on the inside. Dowd's claims to be America's oldest grocery store, 1884. This is one busy little downtown. Quite the operation here, moving people on and off the island.
Aisleways and land when you're going ashore.
Downtown Mackinaw City. Got a 2-hour ride, 100 miles. It's pretty funny, I ran into couple that I sat next to on the ferry to Royale when I was walking around the fort. So, and they're headed in the same direction I am, but they were staying on the island tonight and going to Petoskey tomorrow, and I'll be passing through Petoskey tonight, so I'll be ahead of them. But it was rather humorous when I was walking along. It's like, wait a minute. What are the odds of that? The good news is that the rain has not reappeared. Now it looks like it could rain, but it was a dry time at Mackinac Island, so that was really fortunate. Over 3,000 miles on this trip, 3,011 miles. Heading my way home. I'm guessing this is going to be a 4,000 mile trip. Stafford's Bayview Inn. Come here as a kid. 1886. I used to come up here for skiing. Lake Michigan. So let's see, what lakes have I seen on this trip? I've seen Erie, Huron, Superior, and Michigan. That just leaves of the 5 Great Lakes, Ontario. I will not likely see Ontario. Downtown Charlevoix. Crossing over the water. It's a bit of a resort town. The Lower Peninsula of Michigan definitely feels like being back in civilization compared to the Upper Peninsula. Keep passing orchards. The apple orchards are smelling sweet this time of year. Some more. Over here on the left. I've probably said this before, but that's one of the nice things about motorcycling is that you're so much closer to what you're passing by since you're more exposed to the elements. So a lot of the odors that come off the land, good smells and the bad smells, you can smell them all. Unlike a car where you're a little bit more protected from the environment. The state campground that I was going to stay at is closed because they're completely redoing it. So here we go. Another campground, Arbutus Lake State Campground. I'm getting a clunking noise from my chain, even though I dressed it a couple 100 miles ago. I don't know whether it's just dirty. It doesn't look all that great, given that I just dressed it, but I did ride through the rain. A few people. I didn't see a check-in station. Ranger cabin. This must be where the check-in station is. $20 per night. Not too bad. Campground number 6, fairly level. They left a fire burning next to it, but hopefully that'll go out soon. and a spot for me to put my bike up on its center stand, take a look at that chain. So that should do it.